Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to Ultimate General American Revolution, the newest game out by Game Labs. Is it technically the newest? Well, it's certainly the newest fully released, and I'm using that quotes, game by Game Labs. We are in episode number 5 of our Let's Play series, playing as the British in the British campaign. It is June of 1775, and we are trying to hold the Americas together. We have started to see rebellions cascade a bit. There are several provinces in Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Delaware rebelling against us. We have armies on the move to suppress 2 of these regions. We've got about 2,000 troops in Delaware and about 1,300 troops in Pennsylvania. And then we will shift troops south to deal with the rebellion in Virginia eventually. But that's the situation right now. We do have 4 field armies, one under our character, the Pennsylvania Army, a brand new one under John Byron here in Delaware. Johnny Burgoyne has been successfully putting down rebellions in Massachusetts up in the north. And then we also do have a Francis Smith who has won a couple of victories around Boston. That's what we find the situation to be right now. And we're about to fight at least some battles. Our character's army is approaching Granville, which is one of the Pennsylvania provinces to rebel against us. And then the 2,000 troops under Byron have just landed and are moving on Cambridge. And then presumably once they're successful there, Dover after that. Yeah, so I think that probably does it as far as an explanation. Let's go ahead and form these guys into a brigade. Move Schaefer's brigade of 2,100 troops up to Cambridge. The ships that brought Byron's army are going to move into port at Baltimore. Okay. Come on, boys. 500 troops of Murray moving north. I don't know if they're maybe going for Baltimore itself since it's kind of unoccupied. Why is this not a battle I can fight? I outnumber the enemy too much or something? Alright, well, we drove back 1 regiment. They only have 68 survivors. Creation of the Continental Army. Okay, this is what I was waiting for. We have not faced a real organized resistance yet. It's mostly been whack-a-mole, but it looks like there's 2,400 troops forming in the Continental Army by the Second Continental Congress. Not sure where. Maybe up at Dover? Jeez, look at that 2nd Regiment melt away when they got in close with the Redcoats. Halsey's boys are now retreating. Maybe that means we'll get a big battle here as we retake Cambridge. So I didn't get to fight with Byron here at Cambridge, but we did manage to wreck several American regiments. Let's send Byron out as a scout, I guess. To the east. No, Dover only has 700 men, so it's not that. Alright, let's go ahead and move on. Granville, looks like the garrison up here is moving toward maybe Augusta. Do we have any indication of where these troops might be? Not yet. I don't think they formed in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina, but it does look like there's a rebellion down there. Uprising in Charlotte, Fort Pownell. Johnson's brigade got kicked out, I guess. And Baltimore fell. Alright, can you see what's in Baltimore? Can the ships at least see what's there? Cambridge has been recaptured. Let's move these guys to Dover. Cambridge is not at least at the... Well, it is a revolution risk, I guess. Can you see? No, you can't. You can just see it's hostile. Okay. Alright, Granville has fallen. My character is going to move his force up to Fort Augusta to try and limit how far the Americans can spread. There's always the risk these guys rebel behind me. I don't have sufficient resources at the moment. Oh, wait. Are they up here? Is it under Adams? The Continental forces up here near Pownell? Alright, well, maybe. Alright, let's send some regulars north to aid Johnny Burgoyne. We need a garrison of... Really? 700 men to prevent a rebellion in Leicester? Okay. I've got a maximum number of militia regiments at the moment. I suppose there's no point in having militia regiments where there's no chance of an enemy rebellion, so we can pull troops out of New Haven. Alright, we're going to do this. If we really think the enemy might have raised a large force up north, we're going to send... these troops here. We'll send some militia up to Salem. I'm going to try and swap militia units out with regulars where I can. Okay. All right. We'll get those boys moving north, hopefully to join Johnny Burgoyne. If there's 2,000 troops at Pownell, they're likely going to... Let's move these guys around to Halifax. I'd rather you not move on a straight line. Mainly abandoning some more vulnerable positions in the north until we can get reinforcements up there, while still hopefully leaving enough behind in Boston to keep it safe. Okay. I am leaving a garrison... Oh, shit. In New York. Do I want to fight that battle? It doesn't look like we want to. Multiple enemy regiments surrendered in Dover. Where are these POWs getting sent to? I don't even know. Okay, Dover's falling to us. Rebel informant captured. Okay. Now we're going to send these guys to Baltimore. We've retaken Dover, at least for now. My force apparently up here near Fort Augusta has won a victory against whatever garrison was up there. Trying to finish off these 300 troops before they get a chance to reinforce something and make our lives more difficult. Alright, they surrendered. Nice. $500 troops at Baltimore. That's not too bad. Building the ranks. Okay, we get a new lieutenant colonel, I guess. Alright, what's going on here? Castine was lost. Pownell was lost. Uprising in North Carolina. try and send the Charleston garrison. We've got a regiment of regulars at Charleston, but I'd rather leave them in place. Several infrastructure projects complete. Okay. Okay, I don't know. This is also in North Carolina. I think I have too many field armies concentrated in the north. Maybe as we work on tamping down the rebellion in Virginia and Maryland, we will just have one army naturally drift south as it engages the enemy. Okay. Hope these guys are going to go down to York. I don't know that I need to capture all these goods. Okay, we outnumber them 4-1. 4-1. We'll let them fight it out on the on the strategic map. Meanwhile, my character will go to Augusta. In the north, we've got reinforcements trying to come up to Fort George. All right, so we pulled the regiment out of Elmusk. I don't think it's likely they'll be able to hold there, so we'll try to garrison Halifax, Frank, and George to keep the rebellion bottled up north near Pownell and Castine until we're able to bring up additional reserves. Really? Boston's at risk of a rebellion? I don't have enough troops? Salem, North Carolina now? No. Okay, so I get my 10 grand of taxes. I guess we already accomplished that and the game just didn't award it to us till the end. Another naval battle. Oh, HMS Baltic versus the USS Fennel. A one-on-one. I guess we'll fight that one. I don't trust my AI enough to win a 12 gun versus 12 gun ship. Not that I really trust myself. We saw how the last battle went. All right, where's the wind? You know what's interesting is you don't usually want to sail with wind directly at your back. The way that sails are configured in these ships, you typically want to sail with it kind of off the quarter of your ship to get maximum speed. You can kind of tell by where the green is on where you want to be. The red, the wind's coming this direction, so you don't want to sail into it. But here is great. Here is great. Directly to your back isn't great. I've never been a sailor, but now this is not a battle where I can capture the Fennel. I don't have. That's one of my gripes. I'd say is that the game. There's too few officers on ships, and as a result, you need like larger ships to take any kind of prize, which is not very accurate. I guess is the way I'll put it. All right, we need more sails. You're getting. What size guns do these have? Both have 12 guns. I'm not sure what guns I have. But open fire! There you go, nice little broadside to start. So Baltic's main goal is really just to destroy the Fennel. And hopefully not take much damage, just to weaken the Continental Navy. Less sail would be great. You typically also don't want to turn when you're shooting. It's best to remain somewhat still. So we're in front of his firing arc while he is in the center of ours. We got two nice broadsides in. He's trying to turn so that his broadsides can come over. It doesn't look like he's making much headway. He's starting to gain a little bit of momentum here. One more broadside, I think. Oh, he's going to fire into us here. So he's doing some damage. I would also assume, I mean, this might be invalid, but I would assume Royal Navy crews tend to be a little bit better. But these are two very evenly matched ships. As he sets more sail. We zoom in here. Yadam to Yadam! Ooh, that's a rough broadside from him. We're getting like some... Looks like they're passing through almost over penetration shots here. Why is there a fleur-de-lis? It looks like a... Well, I guess it's not a fleur-de-lis, but... Almost looks like one. Alright. Ugh. Both ships are going to pound each other into matchwood. Alright, can I turn into him and cut in behind him? Probably not. Doesn't look like he'll let me do that. Maybe he'll expose his stern by trying to avoid me getting to his stern. No, he won't. He's going to turn back away before I get my broadside off. Those first two shots went wide. Alright, let's speed things up a little bit. Okay. Not a lot of maneuvering, just good old-fashioned pound it, pound away at the enemy. He's blinking white a little bit, so maybe he's going to surrender. He's turning away. Okay, that broadside of his went wide. He's sailing into the wind now. My broadside went totally useless. He had a nice shot there. Nice little broadside there in that instance. We'll sail close hold to the wind. Alright, he's doing a little bit better at range. Got a little bit of damage in there. Alright, let's tack ship, sail through the wind. Or is it? It's called wear, not attack. Alright. Okay, come on, guys. I could make more sail, but we're switching the side of our ship that's most directly exposed to his broadsides. So we've taken, I think we've lost 2 guns. 2 guns are red on that side of the ship. Come on. Thought I was going to maybe get a bow rake, but my boys are almost surrendering now too. No. Now he's blinking like he might surrender. Both of our ships are not doing very well. The wind has shifted a little bit too, it looks like. He's flooding. You've got the little wave symbol, which he may founder. Can we try and help him founder? We're like at extreme range right now. But he's not shooting at me, which is a nice morale break. Come on. I thought for sure we'd get a hit there. Okay, some rigging. A little bit of hull damage. Let's make more sail. The yellow, or the orange, yellow, brown, whatever that color is, indicates sort of your seaworthiness. The red represents sort of protection for your crew. They call it armor, but it's, I don't know. Age of Sail ships didn't really have armor like that. And then the white or the blue represents your rigging. So your, you know, your sails. All right, I think he's moving directly into the wind, so we might be able to come by with a stern rake right as he's about to sink. Not quite a stern rake, but pretty close in. We'll turn to get one more broadside on that. Not a pure rake, but pretty darn good angle there. Let's see if we can. I don't particularly want to sail through the wind, but we got a nice position on him. I think the Baltic is, it's gonna need some serious repairs, but she's not gonna sink like the Fennel. The Fennel has sunk. Victory. All right, so the enemy loses their ship and their crew. We lose 5 crew and have our ship battered a bit, but it's a nice little quick victory there. These are the times that try men's souls. Okay. All right, so nice little naval victory there. Baltimore, meanwhile, is going to be reconquered. There's a little battle going on near Augusta. 500 troops came down. Okay. I just wanted to retake the town, boys. You let me do that? Maybe we'll get a little battle around York. Hagerstown was lost. Fort Wessel. Strasburg. Virginia's rising. But we retook Baltimore. Alright, Baltimore's important. It's a good-sized city. We should try not to lose it again. So as much as I don't want to... Whoops. As much as I don't want to... I think we do need to leave a regiment behind to garrison it.
Regroup here.
All right, boys, move up to York. My character will move down here. Nearly even odds. We'll merge these two forces with about 1,800 men. Really, they only got 200 troops there. So they got 500 near Augusta, which I'll try to engage. And then they've only got 200 at York. 700 are remaining behind at Baltimore. $500 men is a lot to garrison. Actually, what I can do here, though, if we really need that many men, let's make it 600 with a additional levy of militia. Okay. It's funny that Portsmouth is so loyal to us. So close to the hotbed of Fort Trial. All right, so it increasingly looks like the North is still mostly under our control. And then you've got Pennsylvania and Virginia and North Carolina with widespread rebellion present. Meanwhile, our money is not in great shape right now. I don't want to raise taxes, but I do need more manpower. We've sent 25 first to England. I don't think they've been sold yet, though. They've just been shipped there. So let's sell that to raise some cash. Same for cigars. And I think some additional provisions were sent here, but those are the two main things that generate extra money. Maybe tobacco, I don't know. Apparently we've sent a bunch of cotton, too. Usually I would think you'd want to turn finished goods into, or you'd want to turn resources into finished goods, but I just want to make sure we've got enough cash. Coal is probably not a very valuable resource. They mine a lot of that. Also, we make ammo in England, but whatever. It's not like I'm selling everything here. All right, so we got 45 grand. That's a good chunk. Okay. Meanwhile, will they engage me if I do this? You'd think they would. All right, let's fight this battle. Nearly even manpower. They've got 500 militiamen. We've got 600 regulars, but in terms of line troops, they will outnumber us. We make up for that with some specialty troops. The goal here is obviously to destroy this regiment so they can't go somewhere else. And so that makes our job sort of tamping down these enemies a little bit easier. I'm not sure where the 2,000 troops they went. I guess maybe up near Massachusetts, maybe near Castine. Maybe that's what Burgoyne is going to be dealing with. I've repositioned the troops up north, assuming that. We're going to merge the... Can we merge? No, I don't want to merge the regulars in with them. Or do I? Does it make sense to merge grenadiers and regulars? I guess I can. We've got no cover over here. Is anybody going to come for us because we've got the objective point here? All right, Butcher. I don't know where the enemy might be, but you can see here this claims roughly even man in total strength. A battery of 4 guns in the middle, line infantry on either flank, and then we've got skirmishers on the far right. Here they come. They're marching in column formation up to us. They're coming right for us. All right, let's just let our boys chill. Maybe fall back a little bit, but we'll meet them in the grand old English style. Let the artillery pound them for a bit as they come up. And then we'll just volley fire them. We'll take some casualties, obviously, doing this, but the enemy will have to come out of this wood line. They'll lose most of their cover. I don't know, maybe this is stupid, but they're really arrogant people, you know? They just came right at us. We caught them in the open, really could put a twist on them. You'd think that would have done some damage to that column. 3 rounds all landed just short of the column and should have barreled rounds right into their flank, but didn't look like they really did. Meanwhile, almost 450, well, 450-ish troops forming up on our left. Maybe the artillery can be the difference. They're shifting fire to the troops in the woods. All right, we'll move the right flank units forward here to engage the enemy. We'll have the advantage on the right, at least. They're retreating? Really? Oh, come on. They didn't even... We didn't even get a... I wanted to destroy the bastards. We got like 1 volley in, and they're just like, nope, that's enough for me. Maybe I'll have better conditioning and can catch up to them. Usually militia moves more quickly, but... I'm thinking we'll at least destroy 1 of their, maybe 2 of their companies here. They're just, this is like Total War-esque. They're just retreating and taking losses and doing no damage. The problem is, at some point, the pursuers take fatigue damage. Okay. There we go. We got 1 of their companies over here. Can you keep up with them? You just decimated them with a nice little volley there. I'm mainly fighting this out rather than retreating to the strategic map is because I desperately want to avoid having to whack-a-mole this enemy regiment. And I want to do as much damage as I can because we came into this fight and their numbers were roughly even with us, so... God damn it, I misclicked. I'll pursue them to the edge of the wood line and then volley them in the back, although they'll move quicker once they're out of the woods, so... This is where having some cavalry would be nice. Okay. At least the skirmishers are constantly peppering and trading away 1 of these companies. Alright. So 1 company destroyed, 2 crippled, and 1 basically untouched so far. Maybe we'll get a 2nd company formally destroyed. I don't know if we break the division up if they can move more quickly. Oh, we're going to get away. Alright, did a little bit of damage to these guys before they retreat off the map. Any chance we can finish these 40 men off? There we go. Finished them off. Friendly fire. Well, maybe you should have surrendered earlier. Alright, so... yeah, I'm not going to catch them. Alright, we'll take that victory. 264 casualties, 122 prisoners. About 200 made it out. We lost no one. That's funny. That's funny. They didn't shoot back, apparently, when they were retreating, which has not always been my experience. I have definitely seen battles where the enemy... I've seen battles where the enemy is marked to retreating off map, and then somehow they do well enough that it actually unretreats them. But... can we finish them off? Hey, Byron, don't charge toward... those guys. Can you finish these guys off? Force them to surrender. Okay, get some provisions. Fort Shirley, just over here, rebelled against us. At least it's right where we're headed. Alright, so they surrendered. York will be ours. They surrendered. I'm not going to bother trying to take every single one of these weapons caches that... whatever. Let's get over to Shirley before the rebellion can spread. York has been recaptured. Byron will move with his troops down to Hagerstown. Disruption of supplies, 11 textiles. Okay. All right. Militiamen arrive at Fort George. That'll be enough to make sure it doesn't rebel. Move those regulars up to Frank so we can deal with it. They've expanded up north to Velomynsk now, so it's Cast Iron, Pownal, and Velomynsk. Oh, shoot. Byron, get down there. I don't even know what they have down there. Alright, they got a regiment at Hagerstown. I got the best damn ground around, and they're hitting me with one measly brigade. Alright, so we get 158 civilian muskets. Liberation of Boston. Boston was lost and is currently under the occupation of the rebels. Since when? Oh, no! Alright, well, Boston was lost, sort of. Alright, boys. Let's just quickly... there was a rebellion that kicked our regiment and our general out of Boston. I'll get a big perk if I retake Boston, so I'm just going to fight this battle and retake Boston right away. So much whack-a-mole. I know there's supposed to be a Continental Army of 2,000 men somewhere. If the war unfolds this way for 8 years before you can win, that will get a little bit tiring, I think. All right, our own boys are militia too, so that doesn't necessarily bode as well for us. I don't have any artillery. So I must win on superior tactics, which is not usually my tactic. It's a rainy day. Let's get these boys into the wood line here. Francis Smith is our general officer. Is there no objectives? That's just... But if we get into the wood line, hopefully the enemy will come to me. Line of sight is oh, they're over here. They're just behind this wood line. Are they really just sitting in place? They are. Alright, well that's not great. Okay, well then in that case, we will just try to overwhelm them with... Oh, shoot, they are coming to me. Alright, well if they're going to come to me, then again, get back in that wood line. I was going to try and flank them on the right, pin them with one unit and then flank them, but if they want to come right at me, I'll sit in this wood line, and I'm hopeful we have brown besses in one of these. Both of these units have brown besses. So these are the militias I raised with brown besses. I did use some civilian muskets for some of the units I planned to use as garrisons, just because I didn't have enough brown besses in the colonies at the time. So they may gang up on the left flank, but again, I'm hoping that the concentration of these companies into divisions, or like half regiments almost, will sort of be the difference in allowing me to concentrate, you know, considerably more firepower on them than they on me. Also, I have a general officer, which should help. All right, if they're going to... I wonder if they're going to try and melee me. Meanwhile, these guys are out in the open. So they are trying to gang up on the left flank. Oh, they're going to try and melee me. Would have been nice to have a fresh volley there, but they're going to melee me, but I outnumber them 3-1. I'm assuming they're more tired than I am. Hopefully our boys hold. At least it's not a situation like when you're fighting the redcoats as the Americans and the redcoats just have considerably better troops. Alright. So we drove back this company with heavy loss. They're down to 50 men. The militia in the woods held their ground. And now I've got 300 troops coming up to flank these attackers. So holding our ground in the wood line seems to be two major factors here so far. One, the fact that we merged companies together, so rather than having one company firing when they tried to melee me, we had two. And two, we were holding back, which helped us maintain our condition and allowed us to, I think, fight more effectively in that melee. Like our troops were fresh, which would kind of matter in hand-to-hand combat. All right. Hopefully it matters in pursuing them too. Don't take flank fire. Just go charge them, boys. Give them the bayonet. Show them the way that an Englishman fights. Now halt and fire into their flank at point-blank range. And then give them the bayonet. You're disorganized rabble. Okay. So we captured 47 of them. I don't know if this unit evaporated. They dropped their flag. We captured another 60. Francis Smith won the only real major field battle we had. The enemy had like 1,800 men near Leicester, and Francis won that victory. All right, we're not going to catch them. All right, so 400 rebels who rose up and took Boston. They lose 194 plus 107 captured. Almost, that is 300 men out of 393. We lose 32 men. We should be able to immediately retake Boston then. I think. There were 2 red markers there, though, so what else? Was it just Boston that rose up against me? It looks like it. Go to the territorial map. Okay. Moving down towards Shirley. Hagerstown. Alright, so they instantly surrendered. Okay, we'll take these regulars out of here, move them north. Looks like we've got sufficient regulars now. So we'll retake Boston right away to get a nice little present for the king. Philemon Scardi, we already knew about that. All right, how does Boston look? What's the damage here? Yay, 20 prestige. Boston's loyalty's raised. How many men do we need to garrison it successfully? 900 men. I guess it is a larger city. That would make some sense, but... Well, I can't, so... Fort Frederick. God damn it. Stanwix. I'm losing the interior... Alright, we're about to retake Hagerstown.
Push through.
Go melee these bastards. I don't have time to wait. They're gonna take Winchester if I don't. Yeah, number I'm 4-1, dudes. Okay, supplies from Newfoundland. You're charging into the interior. They're trying to get to Strasbourg by the looks of it. Oh my god, this is the Philippi races. The attack on Shirley's going okay. Are they going to surrender? Alright, there they go. Is Strasbourg unoccupied? Let's disband the brigade. We'll send 1 regiment to Strasbourg. We'll send 1 up to Hagerstown. Now that you guys ran all over Kingdom Come.
Hold the line.
We really need an army in Canada, too. What I'm waiting for is the research that I have that will allow me to have more militia units. Cambridge uprose. Another uprising in Cambridge, the bastards. Alright. Go take orange. I guess stay with your boys here. Richmond was lost. It's a whack-a-mole party. Loyalist training is finished. All right, so we can do more research. Now that I have loyalist training completed, I can also raise more militias. I don't have the loyalty in Boston to raise one there. But New York does. Not a lot of recruits there, though. All right, let's raise a new... Wait, I thought the militia limit was... You have to wait for the end of the day? I thought we increased the cap. All right, we're at least seeing the loyalty go up in Leicester. Slowly. Burgoyne, how about you leave the fort here and go see what's going on?
Victory or death.
Fredericksburg was lost. I thought we already lost Fredericksburg a little while ago. All right, so 300 at Castine. That's not really a concern. 600 at Pownall. So they could have about 1,000 men if they want. Still don't know where the other 2,000 are, but... All right, go to Fredericksburg. We retook Orange. My character is going to retake Shirley after defeating the enemy near Bonnie. Fredericksburg, Maryland might fall back to them. They not take Hagerstown? Hey, Byron, don't get yourself killed. Okay? Thanks. All right. Ransom exchange. For 5 fur? No. Why would I give you... I'm not going to give you... So, like, we've captured a bunch of rebels to this point. If we go to army management, we take a look at prisoners. We have no prisoners held in the enemy side. Meanwhile, we hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 enemy officers. And over 200 enemy POWs. So we got 370, 380, 460, 5, 8, 1,040, 1,140, 1,250, 1,460. What did I say? 1,460, 1,580. So like 1,700 enemy POWs. It's not nothing. All right, we're going to go ahead and have these 2 regiments merge in under my character now that they've retaken Shirley. Could fight a real even fight, which I generally want to avoid. Oh, do they really have 2,700 troops? The intel is always so bad down at Richmond. Well, they got 900 men, so we do need to tread carefully. They've got 1,400 men between Fredericksburg and Richmond. Apparently I can't retake Hagerstown while this... Why are they not retaking Hagerstown? Get in there, boys. Take it. Surprised they're not marching against Byron's force here. We're going to send these reinforcements south, though. We'll give them 500 men back. And France and Spain are now allies. Okay, I don't really care about that. Free money's always good. Taxes to the crown. Okay, it shouldn't be a problem. All right, send those 500 troops there. Butcher go to Cambridge, I guess. Way out of the way for 500 more troops. Do we have the ability to raise more militia now? I thought that R&D I did said you could raise more militia. Petersburg. All right, whatever. This is all grouped around the same force. Staunton. Did we retake Staunton? Either way, it fell back to the enemy. Okay, so you can see North Carolina, Virginia becoming a problem. It just in terms of provinces held by the enemy. Meanwhile, Massachusetts, the center of the country, not so much. What's going on up here? West Wall. Okay, that was the interior. Okay. All right, Burgoyne, you're going to form up 1,800 men into a brigade.
Push through. Regroup here.
And go retake
Push through.
the north up here. I thought we increased our militia limit. I'm very confused by that. Boston's got a church and a printing press. What else can we do to increase our loyalty? We've already built a capital here. I mean, I guess it does show that they're increasing. It's just taking time. I'm sure they'll love me building a tax house. Okay. Can we upgrade? Doesn't look like it. I need to probably build some more troops in England and send them over this way, but at the end of the day, there's too many hotspots. There's one in the north with which Burgoyne is moving to deal with, but then there's also Fort Frederick out here in the west. Then, of course, there's all the stuff going on down in Maryland and Virginia. I need more men, but I also need more garrisons. So what was that? It said militia limit +5, right? So I don't understand what we did there. Oh, was that a different thing we did? Okay. It's the colony organization that gives us more militia. Okay, well, maybe in 18 days, I can accelerate that. Saw a couple of U.S. warships there. Another Boston uprising? Don't worry, boys. We'll put it down. Join this battle, can you? Smith.
Keep moving.
I need the ability to... Either I need to bring in more troops. Why are we losing this fight? A 28-gun frigate? Alright, just come down and crush these guys. Our troops are really retreating here? Goddamn cowards. Fort Frontenac. We even had a garrison there. I have to figure out what the best strategy is here. Okay. Are they just shifting all their troops around in the north here? Hey, Burgoyne, again, don't get yourself killed. Olive Branch petition. Fort Mill. North Carolina's gonna be gone, which is kind of funny too because historically the South was viewed as more loyal, at least initially. Alright. We're going to assault Fredericksburg here, but... Butcher, don't get yourself killed. This is dangerously close to getting myself killed, which would end the game. Shoot. That would have been real frustrating. Anyway, so we are going to... Matagunk, whatever. Alright, we are going to fight these battles in the south, at least one of them. However, we've been going for an hour of me running around and, you know, just running around. They've got 5 ships here. Wow. All small. Well, they got 2 28 gunners. Huh. All right. Anyway, we're going to figure this maybe we'll figure this out. I don't know. Let me know if you guys are still enjoying this series. Yeah, we're trying to, oh, god damn it, stop unpausing. We're trying to figure it out here. We'll see. Hopefully I don't get myself killed, or I don't think I'm anywhere near being fired. My reputation is sky high. But we'll try and figure out what to do next. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. Leave your thoughts below as always. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out. Bye-bye.